set up here. Says we're waiting. There we go. It's getting this all set up. If anybody's here, just give me a second. I got to get my device all set up here. Let's see, where are we? YouTube. There we go, friends. We're there we go. There we go. Beauty. How's it going, everyone? We got high-speed internet. Starlink. We haven't had high-speed internet here the whole time we've lived here. Like, we've lived here 10 years, and we just got our Starlink, so we plugged it in, and I'm trying to see if I can go live in the shop. Holy smokes, Jordan Munson, thank you, buddy. Glad to have you here. Good Country Living, Josh King, Chris Arnica, Dan Cooper, Stevie Thoreau. How's it going, Stevie? I like that, Stevie Thoreau. McDaniel Saws. Zachary Gross, Ishmanin, Dragon's Picks, Buzz Honey Firewood. How you guys doing? How do I look? Is it clear? This is just going to be a test. I don't know how long we'll be on for, but I really want to start live streaming, and then that way I can interact with you guys. And bye, babe. My wife set this up for me. I just want to be able to interact with you guys. This is fun. What do we got here? Just having a look here. Hello from Greece. How's it going? Greece, that's crazy. You know, guys, it's so cool that the internet can... I get emails from all over the world, and it's pretty neat. Sweden, Norway, there's people in Asia that I yak back and forth with, Mexico, United States, a lot of Americans on this channel. It's just a lot of fun. I'm doing great, Mike. Thanks for asking, buddy. I got Buckins 850 here. I just reassembled it. I made a video for you guys the other day. I put basically a brand new fuel tank on this thing and went back over it. I actually took it apart so we could have a look-see at the rod and bearings. And being new to Max, and again, friends, I haven't been boarding power saws for a long time, like 4 years, 5 years. I like to check my work and show, if I make a mistake, I want to show you guys to maybe help you guys out. So just kind of, I took it all apart, which is kind of crazy. The saw ran really well. Nothing looked out of sort in there. I'm happy with the timing numbers, the pipe. So Buckin's gonna, get this soon, maybe in the next week, and he can try her out in between setting up his blacksmith shop. And yeah, we'll just we'll go from there, and then maybe we'll do some more Max. If he likes where we went with this, we can apply this to another build. Yeah, this thing's Stevie. This thing's hey friends. Ooh. I told Bucket, when you pull this thing over, you better mean it. This is the only saw I've ever used a decomp on, including the 394 here. I don't decomp that. This thing? Yes, sir. Oh, thanks, Eric. I appreciate that. You know, guys. Oh, hey, guys. I'm getting old. I forgot those are there. Eric Cook, doing great things on the channel. You've helped and inspired a lot of people. Thanks, Eric. You know, guys, I never set out to be a YouTuber. It was it was far from the truth. I was puttering in my shop on Saturdays, which I still do to this day, and I was watching the Iron Horse and Bayou Country Power Saws, old Kenzie's there, and I thought maybe I can help somebody with their power saws, and I started posting little videos. The first video I ever did, if you guys go way back, I bought a 999 Oleomac 103cc Italian Stallion muscle saw. And I thought, I got to put this on YouTube. Maybe somebody else has one. And it just kind of took off from there. We are almost at 20,000 subscribers, friends. It blows my mind. I'm just having a lot of fun. And I really thank you guys. You guys that come here and watch videos are making this channel what it is, and you guys are always helping me out. You guys have my gratitude, and I don't forget the people that have reached out, and you know, you guys are just good people out there, and this community that we're building is a community of positivity, and it's not going to change. Life's too short to be negative, and I don't react to negativity. I see positive comments, and my brain just goes right there. So let's see where we're at. Hey, Stevie Lutz. It's about time, eh? I've been going on Stevie Lutz's live feed. Another thing, friends, Saturday mornings lately, he didn't do it this weekend because he was working. Tasman Kenny Fuller does an early morning spirit fire. I hang out there. I really like the Tasman. He's a good dude. He's got a good soul, a good vibe. He's just a really good man. I'd like him to get to 1,000 subs. If you guys can go over there, check out his content. He runs power saws. He's a good tree worker. He's a good man. If you guys can go over to the Tasman's channel and check him out, and if you like what you see, please give him a subscribe. He's almost at 1,000, friends, and I would rather see him get to 1,000 than me get to 20. I really like that Tasman. Same thing with Stevie Lutz. He's applying paint to vintage power saws, and he does great work. I don't have that kind of talent. I can make these go fast, but that kind of stuff, Stevie Lutz is working magic with these old saws, powder coating them. They look great. I think this shelf would look good with a Stevie Lutz saw on it, wouldn't it? We'll have to talk about that in the future, Stevie. Sorry, guys, I'm flapping. Yeah, Stevie's throw, she's got compression. Strong shoulders. Well, I am a sheet metal worker still. I spend my days like this, friends. Everything I do is overhead, so yeah, if I can't pull a saw over, it's usually this thing's scary, friends. Like this thing will rip the cord out of your fingers pretty quick. And I raised the exhaust roof, and that goes to show you, friends, you can still have high compression with a high exhaust roof. Try it. That's one thing, friends. I try not to live like this. I look at what other guys are doing. I can learn from any builder. I don't, when I look at what other guys are doing, if it's different for me, if the saw cuts wood, friends, that's all that matters. I'm going to leave it at that. Get some likes for Tin Man. Thanks, buddy. Dragon's picks, you and Bayou inspired me. Yeah, friends, seriously, Kenzie and I used to yak on forums, and then I got him on my WhatsApp one day, and Kenzie really helped me out. He did. I was porting without a timing wheel, and friends, I couldn't recreate my results. I just couldn't, and it was frustrating. And he kind of gave me, a cheat sheet of general numbers that should work, and I just took it, and of course I broke those numbers the first time. My 365, I went a little far on that. It's a good saw, and from there on I've built upon that, and I'm always trying to get out of my comfort zone. Friends, I was not comfortable working on these to start with. They're different. The numbers you use are different. The shapes of the intake. So I hope Buckin likes this saw. I put a lot of time into it. You guys got any questions? Like, can I help you guys with your saws? I'm way behind. I'm flopping. Aaron Powell, so glad you decided to do this YouTube thing. Definitely my favorite channel. Thanks, Aaron. You're going to make me blush. You know, friends, my life changed the day I turned that camera on. I live remote. There's not a lot of people out here. I'm just hanging out in the shop on the weekends. And, you guys really, seriously, I really appreciate you guys hanging out here. What can I say? I'm living the dream. I'm just having fun. And, I get excited. I do most of my filming on the weekends. I get up super early on Saturday, and I can't wait to share what I'm doing with you guys. And who knows what's going to come on this channel. I have Pioneers to work on. I want to build a really fast 281 Husky. We're still working on can you guys see that? Oh yeah, you can. We're still working on the Big Mac here. I'd like to port that saw and maybe put a pipe on it. We'll see. When I look inside those, friends, it's like Latin. The porting is strange. So I got that saw just so that we could learn together on this channel. But yeah, I got a lot of stuff in the future, friends. Ishmanen, can 40cc saws handle porting? Yes. I get that a lot. Can I port a small saw? You can, friends, but I'm going to tell you, the smaller the saw, the harder they are to port. Look at it this way. If big saws like this is a torque monster. I can do all kinds of crazy work to this and not lose too much torque, which means it'll pull a long bar. Okay? A 40cc saw, the power band is this big. Where this saw, it's like this, right? There might be 4,000 RPM where this saw makes power. So if you want to port don't add too much intake timing. Don't add too much exhaust groove timing, because little is more on a small saw. A, and B, if you turn that saw right up, you got to remember those small bearings in that might not handle the RPM needed and just the power. So not that you can't do it, you can port anything, but whether it's going to last. And if it blows up, friends, just shrug it off, take it apart, study your work, and start over again. Saws do blow up. Knock on wood, I haven't really lost too many saws, but it does happen, friends. And when it does, just move on and either rebuild the saw or learn from it. I'm flopping here, friends. We had a super chat. Lyman, 1969. Watching your detailed series on porting helped me port my own 261 and 372. They're still running strong. Keep up the great work, Tin Man. Thanks, buddy. I tried to make that series as detailed as I could. I worked on that series for months, at once a week for months. And I hope it helped you guys. The information just wasn't out there. It was in little bits and pieces. I wanted it all in one spot. And that series is done really well. I might actually, I see we're a little blurry here. I'm just going to catch up here. It's kind of overcast today. I wanted to try it on the worst day. If this isn't stable, I'm going to run a cable out here, friends, because I want to be able to chat with you guys. Is there much to be gained porting an 038 Magnum? Well, funny story. I have one right here. This is Fab Willie's. I've had this for a while. It does not run. The muffler on it's got some issues. we probably will port this. This saw is identical bore and stroke to a 272. Okay, so this saw out of the box is an absolute torque monster. I used to run one of these, friends. I sold it to finance another project. I kind of miss that saw. These pull chain really well. For sure, we could get gains out of this. I find that these are stronger than a 272. The only reason why I like a 272, they're lighter. These are kind of heavy. But yeah, I have one here, 038 mag. It's got some crazy muffler. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there you go. We'll get to it. Are there any good aftermarket carbs for 266 and 272 top end? Not that I've found. If you guys know of a good aftermarket carb, period, I can't run them anymore. They just don't work. Look at all the trouble I had with buck and saw. That was the carb. I put an OEM carb. We had more problems. Almost want that carb back, put it on a good saw. But every time I've run an aftermarket carb, friends, they don't hold their tune. They might cut that day, but the next day they lose their tune. The question is why. I think it's the metal they use. It warps, or I don't know. So no, I haven't found one. Let's see. If your 266 is an XP with an HS224 carb, it'll run the 272 top end just fine. Yes, it will. The 163A that comes on all the older saws will also run a 272. What you get with that, in my experience, is I have done carb swaps. I'd like to do a video like that. Put a big carb on a 266 and run it with the little carb. With the small carb, they're gruntier. They make more mid-range power, I find. With the big carb, they just scream. So we'll have to do a video on that. Pouring rain here. I miss the rain, friends. It's been real cold. Hey, it's Mrs. Tin Man. Hi, honey. Just finished watching your Echo 670 porting videos. Definitely inspired me to play with mine. Keep up the good work. That Echo 670, that's a good saw. Sagebrush Hillbilly has that. He started a little bit of a YouTube channel there, and that saw is getting better and better as he runs it more. They take a while to break in, I find. It can take a month or two. He likes that saw, and it's been stone dead reliable. I would do another one of those. I have some ideas about making one really warm, and I think it would take it. Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up. I'm flapping. I find they are more finicky to tune with the 163. Yeah, that's Evan McDonald just posted that. Evan, you hit the nail on the head. That's how you know you need more carb. When they get really picky and there's a really infinite adjustment, you need a bigger carb generally. Again, carbs, that's black magic. I know just enough to be dangerous. That Iron Horse fellow, Iron Horse knows a lot about carburation, and he's mastered it. I'm still getting there, but I just keep puttering and getting out of my comfort zone. I'm actually shocked, friends. This carburetor on the saw has been almost perfect. The Super Pro 70 I did, we're going to be opening that back up. I think I went a little too far on the intake timing on that. So we're going to bring it back to a sane McCullough number and see. That Super Pro 70 is funny, friends. It's a monster. You fire it up and it's just an absolute monster. You stand up and buck with it and it just motors. You dog it in, it falls flat. I've never built a saw like that. It feels so strong until you dog it in. And I didn't raise the exhaust roof crazy on that. I think what's happening, I'm losing intake velocity. And again, I don't know. So we'll dig into that. Hey Tin Man, happy Sunday to you. Hello everyone. Aaron the Woodchopper Massey. Hey buddy, happy Sunday. Sunday's usually a day where I chill, edit videos, but this is fun, friends. This is really fun. And I love that you guys send me emails. Makes me feel honored that you guys trust me. You know, one thing about me, friends, if I don't know, I'll just say it because you can't know everything. But I still personally try and answer as many emails as I can. It's getting to the point where I can't get to all of them. They just flood in, but I really have a lot of fun. You guys and myself over email I wonder how many saws we've built together. It's so much fun when you guys email me and then you send me a video of your saw motoring through wood. I'd love to do a video of just your guys' saws. There's a lot of you out there that build strong saws. That Charles Briscoe, I email back and forth with me. He's an Echo guy. That guy builds some nasty saws. He really does. We've swapped info. He's helped me quite a bit with the 590. I'm gonna dig back into that. I got to crack the code of the 590. I've never done so little to a saw and had it run like that after, which means I'm going to get better because of that saw. So literally have a box of carbs plus 130. Yeah, Evan, it's same here. I buy part saws all the time and just to swap parts and see. Carburetors and stuff are so expensive. I'd rather just buy a junk saw and try the carb off that than buy a brand new one. Oh, my pleasure, Aaron. I'm happy to help you guys any way that I can. Just want to see if I can fix something here. We're good. How's everything looking and sounding, friends? Everything good? Because I'm pretty far from the house right now. I'm on Wi-Fi. Everything look good? You guys, is there any good 575 XPs? I have one. It's funny, Dan. I was running my 576 yesterday. I love that saw. It's a monster. My buddy built that saw. It's my problem with that chassis. It's a little heavy. I've never cared for the ergos on that saw, but I was bucking a tree yesterday with it. Those things are incredible. For a stock saw with no porting, like I don't run stock saws anymore. It's very rare. That thing, wow. Hopefully it lasts. Seems fine. You're good. Right on. Thank you, Stevie. Yeah, I got your number, buddy. You definitely know Max. I'm a general everything kind of guy. Adam G, is there potential bike sled cylinder with close bolt pattern? No, I haven't found one yet. Problem is most bikes and sleds are really overbore. And by overbore, I mean your bore to stroke is way off. You got a big piston. Most of them won't fit down in the cylinder. Also, the problem with overbore saws, like a 272, when you port them, they make a very narrow power band. That's one of the reasons why I didn't go crazy with the 268 saw is when you turn 272s up, they get very orangutan, but they're very peaky because of the overbore. Remember, when you have a short stroke and you're only pushing, your stroke is your pump, right? You're pumping the bottom end gases through the transfers. The shorter the stroke, the less pump you get. Therefore, you want to open your transfers later, in my experience. And you can't raise the exhaust roof too much because you don't have enough time to fill the combustion chamber. So if you went a big overboard sled or bike cylinder, I don't know. And the piston weight, your piston weight would be way too heavy. The heavier the piston, the less RPM you should achieve in theory without blowing the saw up. I don't know. If we could find something, I would be willing to do it on the channel. That's a good question. Thanks for the super chat, Adam. I appreciate it. Later, Kane. Thanks for coming, buddy. Appreciate it. I'm going to take a sip here. So I was running the 268 giveaway saw. I'm going to grab it, friends. Just give me a second here. I'm going to grab it and put it on the bench. Here we go. There we go. So I was cutting another dead spruce tree. Spruces grow slow, but they die off pretty quick, right? So I was cutting a spruce tree yesterday with this, and I caught it on video. I was hoping to get it. In my experience, you guys ask me all the time, how do you know when the saw's broken in? This saw, I was falling the tree. I was doing my back cut, and I reached down to grab a wedge, and I slammed the wedge in there, and the saw died. And then it restarted. That right there is a sign. So, and I made a video and I explained it, but I'll let you guys know that are here. When your rings are leaking, generally you have richer settings on your carburetor because your rings aren't seated, right? And they leak a little bit of compression. And then when you're pumping down, it can leak some of that through before the transfer's open, right? So the saw suddenly got pig rich. Like, it would start, but it wouldn't idle very long. That is a sure sign. And again, okay, the compression's getting better on this. So now I think it's time, when I get time this week, I'd like to maybe put an iron horse pipe on this and try that. This saw needs a pipe. I can actually feel that this pipe is holding this saw back. When you get a properly piped saw like Buchan's 850, the first pipe I made was okay. When I made that pipe, incredible. Throttle response and power right now. It's not just about noise. It's the pitch of the sound, and I didn't understand pipes until I started welding pipes together. And I did that because I didn't get it. And now a well-piped saw is a magical thing. They're so strong once you get... It has to be a pipe that the saw likes. So I like this saw. It's all the years I've been working on these things and studying them. These are common where I live, so I just always pick them up. I was always buying this chassis because you can do whatever you want with it. You know, you can make it a 60cc, 66, 72. I played with these. It's what I could afford, and it's what was common. Well, now, you know, it's fun because what's fun about using a timing wheel, friends, is you can turn a saw up or down. You can build the saw. The key is build the saw for the person that's going to get the saw. An orangutan saw that's pickier to tune and needs the right chain is not for everybody. Sometimes you just want a regular saw, you know, a saw. This saw is strong, but it's not picky on tuning. It starts easy. It's not hard to pull over. You can use it in the cold. It's not going to run super warm in the heat. So it's a good deal. More horsepower means more heat. So then again, your chain has to be, this is going to be a great saw for somebody. I look forward to giving it away. It's nice. I used to have one exactly like this, like identical. I traded it for something. My buddy really wanted it, so we did a little horse trade. Let's get back to the comments. 262 interchanges with 257. Yeah, I had a mint, the one with the good carb. I can't remember what year. I had a mint 262. Those are as strong as a strong 266 in my experience. That one I had was a monster. Don't have it anymore. My buddy, I met a fella through a classified ad who was a Husqvarna mechanic in the 90s, i.e. this era. Just a great fella. He fits right into this community. He taught me how to wrench on these. He gave me a crash course, all the tools I need. My 365, we built that together in his shop, and I used his tools, and he showed me, and then I just slowly picked up the tools. But he never owned a 262, so I sent that saw his way, and the nice 268. There's always more saws than, you know, I always say, how many saws does one person need? 90 and 91 have the KS cylinder. Yes, I think mine was a 90. My P50 is a killer in the wood, getting a full wrap and longer bar. Yeah, them Pioneers are... That 61 here, again, one of you sent it to me, just blew my mind. What a beautiful saw. I got to get it. This saw needs a little bit more work before I use it as a big saw. It's a monster. Like, that thing would pull a 3-foot bar, no problem. Pioneer had something with these. Again, another great company that that went by the wayside. My 266 SE, I put a mount in, but only one. Is that okay, or should I do them all at once? Well, Dan, I usually just change them all, but if you only have one mount and you got one broken mount, that's better than not fixing it. These things are hard on mounts, especially here and here. They get bar oil on them, and that makes the rubber spongy, and they come apart. This one's not too bad. It's as stiff as they get. I actually like the aftermarket mounts. They're a little bit wider. They're really hard to put in, but they're stiffer. I have aftermarket mounts in all of my 200 series saws that you see on this channel. I haven't lost one yet, especially with the long bar. I like it a little bit stiffer. Yeah, that's the first thing on these. They usually need one mount, and it's usually this one. You'll feel it. The sure sign you need mounts when you put the tip of the bar in, the saw will throttle up. So right there you need mounts. Old 254 XP. I have rebuilt the carb. She starts well, but as soon as it's warm, the idle speeds up and is very erratic. I suspect because of its age. Crank seals. Yeah, crank seals are number one. I know they can be a little bit of a pain to change, but usually old saws, especially if they sit, you'll fire up an old saw, like home lights and stuff like that. You'll get an old home light, an old Mac. You fire the saw up and it runs good. Maybe it needs a carb kit. You might use it for a day or two. Next time you go to start it, you'll find it's very erratic. Usually the seals, they'll hold long enough for a day, and then once they get lubricated again, they just kind of fall apart. Other thing is, if your rings are starting to get worn, once the saw gets hot and everything expands, you don't have enough ring, and then they'll start to stall, and that's also a sign. I've never run a 254. I don't think. I had a really nice 257. That was a wicked saw. I wonder what happened to that. I think a friend of a friend needed a firewood saw, so I sent it their way. I can't remember. I don't have that saw anymore. I'm looking around the shop. When are we going to see a P41 build? Very, very soon. I'm just trying to get through saws for other people. I'd like to build a really hot P41 for me. I've bought a couple have been donated by awesome subscribers. I'd like to do this one. This one's really clean, and so is this one. I have another one in pieces. I also have, this is a 3071, which is the precursor to that. I don't think I have any more Pioneers. I still got that Poulin 5200 counter vibe that I need mounts for. I need to throw that back together. We got a lot of saws to work on here, friends. My 044 is down. I'd like to dig into that. I got a 288 to do. This, I ordered a piston for that 65cc partner. I know a way that we could probably make that warm. What else do I have, friends? Jordan Mark sent me 55cc Makita that I'd like to try and port. Got a bunch of Pioneers on the shelf there. I got a 385 XP Husky. I've never run one of those. I've had it for a couple of years. Same thing. I'd like to jump on that. There's lots of saw work to do, friends. It never ends. Every time I do a saw, I think I I think I have 10 more to do. Nikki Walsh, there's one of my originals. Nikki's been here forever. How's it going, Nikki? Nikki's from Ireland, I believe. Now, Ireland, buddy? It's pretty cool. Yeah, you've been here a long time, Nikki. I have a couple of 210 power saws, McCulloughs. They run a bit rough. Yeah, just send me an email, Lewis Bentley, if you need any help. I'll help you if I can. If I don't know, I can always ask. I mean, you know, there's so many of us in this community. That's what's great, friends. You know, there's so many guys that I can reach out to if I have a problem. Like Donnie Walker, that guy's incredible. What that guy's saw knowledge. Every time I talk to Donnie Walker, it's like, wow. He knows his saws, friends. He's been wrenching on saws since he was a kid. And it's an honor to be able to reach out to a guy like Donnie Walker. Pretty cool. The Iron Horse, Bellhopper. There's just so many good guys around. My P50 is an animal stock. I just acquired a Poolin Pro 455 last week. Oh yeah, I would love a Poolin Pro 455. Never seen one around here. I guess they were never sold here. Basically, isn't that a P41? This is a P40 here, actually. It's cool. It's real turdy. I like them when they're turdies. Nobody will take them out of the back of your truck when you're at the corner store. They'll leave you a nice saw usually. Oh, gonna be fun to be played. Oh, 455. That's the boost port. See? I'd like to run one of those. Oh, I got a couple of 1010s here that Buckin sent me. I'd like to build a really strong 1010. I got two of them here. Pro 1010S, I think they are. They're really nice. The mounts definitely don't like used motor oil. My grandfather and uncle are terrible about using waste oil. Oh, friends, I can't do waste oil. That makes your saw so dirty. It is like impossible to clean. I just buy right now. I buy lightweight oil from the corner store. Like it's just no name. Works fine. It's cheap. Teach their own though. What I do isn't. I mean, I just do things the way I do them. Everybody has a different way of doing things. That's why, friends, I do my own thing, and I'm not. Everybody ports a different way. If your saw runs good, and what is good? If the end user is happy with the saw, you did a good job. That's what I say about porting. Really want to see the 922 is sitting right there. I might make a video on it when we're done here. I've had that for a while. That saw is basically a big XL76. I cracked the code on those. I'd like to do another 76. There's a couple fellas that I think need one. That 922, I'd like to make that an animal. I'm going to put a big carb on it and make it go fast. Hopefully, I have 3 of them here that are mine. That way, I can play with my cylinder timing. Home lights are really hard to port and make strong. They have really short piston skirts, so you can't really machine them. They usually have really loose squish, and they don't cool well. That's why I tell people if you're just learning, you probably porting a home light is a risky proposition. I mean, whatever. If you're gonna blow up a saw, you're gonna blow up the saw. But they run really hot, and when you get more horsepower in them, they don't tolerate it well. Friends, here, I'm going to show you guys something here. I'll make you guys laugh. Is it here? Right here, friends. I still have the cylinder from that home light we blew up on the channel. This one. I took the bridge out. I did that for a reason. That bridge makes heat. I knew that exhaust was the bore, but I wanted to see if I could do it, so I did it. That saw lasted 3 tanks and piled up. It is what it is. So what did I learn? Don't take the bridge out. I'm going to take another sip here, friends. The only way to learn is to do things. And then you know for sure. Otherwise, you don't know. How do you know what you can and can't do unless you do it, right? That's always been my theory, friends. A 750 Echo would be an awesome build. Yeah, that would be super cool. That's a big boy saw, isn't it? Still MS 180 adjustable carb. Are you looking for an adjustable carb? I've never worked on one of those. I don't play with those small saws much. Definitely not for porting. Have you seen a Husky 154 SE? How many cc's is it? 54. It's the same as a 254. Just like a 162 and a 630 John thread are the same saw, basically. What else? There's a Husqvarna 66. Before the 266, they had a 66. I've never had a 254. They used to be available here now and again, but I've never had one. I hear they're pretty orangutan for a small saw. Have you tried cannon bars? I need a couple new bars, a 36-inch. Greg Schultz. Greg, cannon bars are my absolute favorite bar. They are incredibly precisely made. They are heavy though. The solid cannon bars, like the super bars, super mini bars, all that, are incredible, but they are heavy. The lightweight bars, I've never tried one. I think maybe in the future, save up my chore money, my allowance. I'll buy. I'd like to buy one of those lightweight cannon bars. My buddy had a cannon bar, a super bar that he bought 25 years ago, friends. He used to have a tree service with his buddy. That bar looked like it had been dragged behind a truck. It had no coating left on it. It was bare steel. The rail in that bar was still very tight, incredibly tight. And he said he bought that bar 25 years ago. So you buy a cannon bar, it'll probably last you for the rest of your life if you're not a full-time cutter. If you are, you'll probably get many seasons out of it. I love cannon bars. They're top of the line, in my opinion. They are expensive, but you buy a cannon bar and you won't quit. The other bar, and I'm going to grab it, friends. The other bar I'm really digging right now. Just give me a second here. I'm coming back, friends. This bar, this Still Rollmatic ES Light. That's I'm really impressed with this bar. It's super light. I feel like I'm running a 24 on this saw. The rails are very precise. Now, excuse me, friends. If you might ask, what's the deal with precise rails? I mentioned on the Holtz Forma bars that the rails were sloppy. A sloppy rail allows your chain to wander and your cuts will not be precise. You'll miss your notch, when you're falling. If you're cutting cookies and you want them real thin, you'll tend to cut out. You guys will notice I have a 24-inch bar. I always cut out at the bottom. That bar is worn out. I've had that bar for years. It was pretty worn when I got it. It wanders, and what ends up happening is you don't cut straight. So this bar right now it's the cat's meow. This kind of stuff is not super common here. Bucket sent me this bar to try, and it's like, wow. And on this power head, friends, I love my 461. This I'm not typically a still guy. I'm not really brand loyal, but you guys can see I mostly run Huskies. I only ran still for years until the guy that taught me how to wrench on saws, I went over there. We started hanging out all the time, and I went over there, and he was cutting firewood for a buddy of his, a farmer, older fella, help the guy out and help him with his firewood, right? And which is fun. We get to run saws, and he gets his firewood cut up. So we were bucking up. I think it was tamarack. Tamarack's similar to fir. We don't have any fir here. It's all tamarack. I didn't have a saw with me, so he's like, grab that old saw off the shelf there. Well, it was an old beat up 266 XP. The chain brake was broken off of it. Had a 24 on it, razor sharp. I fired that up, and I was like, wow, these Huskies are pretty good. And I started buying them after that. But this thing, friends, this is one of the best saw stills ever made. It's a shame that they're phasing them out. This 461 is an absolute animal. And it's funny, this saw has more compression than I thought it would. This saw has a really, really high exhaust roof. I wanted it to be fast. We don't have a lot of huge timber here. And I figured with the power the saw makes, I could really make it fast without losing too much grunt. Well, for whatever reason, there's no pop-up in this. This thing's just... Sorry, I'm flapping, friends. Let's get back into the comments. Hey, Tin Man, Jeremy Steves. Hey, Tin Man, was wondering what you use to clean. Hold on, friends. There we go. So what you use to clean old saws. Just picked up a 1010 right-hand start. If they're really bad, I'll take them to the car wash. I'm not kidding, and I'll spray them right off. Mostly that's saws that are I'm going to take apart. I use Simple Green a lot. It cuts a lot of the grease and oil. I also use Brake Clean and just you could put them in a parts washer. Other than that, yeah, I just use elbow grease and Simple Green, wipe it down, and then I give it a coat of Brake Clean. I go through Brake Clean by the case in here. That's how I usually clean my saws. Don't use carb cleaner, and if you are going to use Brake Clean, test it underneath the saw. Some Brake Cleans will take paint off. Ask me how I know. Oops. Hey, Daryl Johnson, how's it going, buddy? Hi, Tin Man. Does the Wolf Creek Highway 268-266 cylinder fit under the hood of a White Top 61? Yes. I think it should. Where's my 61? Here, let's find out. That's what we're here for, friends. I want to help. Let's find out. Okay. So, here, let's do this. Here's my 61 top cover. Throw the saw back up here. And what do we need, friends? We need a 66 bottom end. Actually, hold on, friends. I got, here you go. Here's a, here, beauty. Okay. That's why I like doing this. It's so easy. This is a 266, okay? 266 XP. Does it fit? Yes, sir, she fits. Now, I will say though, you're going to have to use your air filter from your 61, okay? The backs, these are more slope, okay? So it looks like your spark plug boot will fit, but you will have to use the air cleaner off of your 61. There. That's why I collect a lot of saws so that I can show you guys stuff. It really helps. Okay, let's put this back up there. The key is to put the parts back on the saws or you end up with quite a mess. Oh. It's getting warm in here, friends. Real warm. I'm burning, what am I burning today? Here, we'll just hang that up there. I'm burning some, there. Just because, friends, I love this saw. I am burning spruce today. Somebody asked me about sap. I've been burning spruce and pine since I've been burning, 15 years? We've always had wood burning apparatuses at our houses. I've never had a problem. Now, I don't cut pine or spruce in the spring. I don't cut in the spring when the pitch is running because you end up with really sappy wood. So, okay. Sorry, friends. I get to flapping. Hey, Charles Briscoe. That man builds a strong saw, friends. He's a good fella. He's helped me out many times through email. How's it going, Charles? Where are we at here? How many people we got here, friends? How's the 590 sitting over there? I got to dig back into that. I need a full day with that saw. When I have a full day, I will dig into it. I will probably film the whole thing. That's my buddy's saw. He's good. It is what it is. I took that saw because I don't typically port stuff like that. I didn't do a ton of work to that. I'm still not sure if I have an ignition problem. It's either I have an ignition problem or, like I said, I didn't touch the upper transfers. I probably need to hog them out. I think as the piston goes down, I'm building too much intake or case pressure and it's spitting back through the carb. So if I open up the upper transfers and maybe raise them slightly, less blowdown. Remember, that saw had 15 degrees of blowdown stock. I raised it to 25 degrees, which I like a long blowdown saw. That's just what I build. Some guys like a short blowdown saw. I'm good with that. I've done both. What works for me is long blowdown. I find long blowdown saws have more in a big long cut. I find they have more grunt. I find they're easier to tune. And again, this is just my opinion. And what's one man's opinion? Just his. But I like a longer blowdown saw. You can't always get there, though. I have a CS590. Do you think just doing a muffler mod is enough to get some gains? Yes. I find the 590s, they run kind of... They're definitely not a clean running saw. Echo took a really strong saw and gave it funky timing numbers and held it back with the carburetor and the ignition. It's really a shame because, friends, before I ported that saw, and if you go back and look in the videos, I was doing timed cuts. I did a few little mods to the muffler, put the bigger carb and the ignition on. That saw was cutting with, in smaller wood, that saw was cutting with my 562. There is potential there, but you got to make those things cut. Hey, Chippy's ATV. Chippy was the first subscriber. I'm trying to think. He was the first subscriber to ever give this saw a channel. Thank you, buddy. The muffler on Buchan's saw, that famous little stock muffler, that came from Chippy. That muffler's incredible. That was the only one I've ever had. I got piles of home lights here. That's the only one I've ever seen. Hold on, friends. I hit a button. I got to turn my chat back on here. There we go. 141. Cool. Wow. What else do we got here, friends? Yeah, I get asked about dynos a lot. Yeah, maybe down the road. I used to be a dyno guy. Friends, this whole porting saws thing, I used to do Harley motors and stuff like that. I'm a bike guy, friends. But as I got older, responsibilities changed. I can't afford to build a $25,000 Harley engine, which is what it would cost nowadays. I got into saws. They're cheap fun. I used to spend hours and hours and hours on the dyno looking for the right fuel and ignition and timing curves. I found that took a lot of the fun out of it because you start splitting hairs. I don't know. When I was younger, I enjoyed it. I went and did a dyno shootout. I used to go to Daytona Bike Week, friends. We built a motor. I had a 1200cc Sportster motor out of a Buell in a chopper I built. Uh, Crazy head work, timing. I used to pull that motor down just to look at things. I'm that guy. And I took that thing to a dyno shootout, just an impromptu dyno shootout one night by the Speedway. A guy had his trailer set up. And we were dynoing that against 600cc sport bikes. And it was crazy because I was making more horsepower than them. I had a lot of fun back in the day, but I'll never forget that. The guy was, he had it on the dyno and he kept shutting it down. And I'm like, no, hold it all the way till it hits the rev limiter. I'd like to find that bike again. It's in Saskatchewan somewhere. Virden, Manitoba, Saskatchewan. I wonder if that motor's still running. That thing was an orangutan. You could lay blackies for miles, friends. Then I got into sport bikes, dirt bikes. The 590 sitting right there. I'm going to dig into that one of these days. But yeah, dyno. Yeah, maybe one day. I need somewhere to set up a dyno. This shop, I'm slowly outgrowing this shop. With your guys' help, friends, you guys are helping the channel so much. We're going to try and move into a bigger shop next year. It's been my dream for a decade. And, hopefully, if everything settles down, you guys know the deal that's going on in the world. Hopefully, I can get that big shop up and rolling. Then we're really, we're going to have a space to set up and work in. So let's see what we got here. Hi, ideas on a good, I thought he said go fast saw. I was like, yeah, I like go fast saws. Good first pro saw. From Crash Wrench. Crash Wrench, what are you cutting? It all depends on what you're cutting. One man's perfect saw is another man's too small of a saw or too heavy. What do you want to cut? Friends, I love this saw. I barely use it. There's not a lot of wood this size here. This thing pulls a 3-foot bar. These 394s are just, this thing's an animal. This is an original 1994 394. I've never been in it. It still has the machine marks on the cylinder. The guy that taught me how to wrench on saws hooked me up with this. I don't need to port this. It's a monster. But what are you cutting, Crash Wrench? That's the key. Let me know in the comments. I'm in a 28 by 32 shop. It's not big enough. Yeah. We have a shop there. It needs a roof bad. It needs a floor and it needs to be insulated. That shop is 60 by 40, I'm going to say. 18-foot ceiling on it. I got to do something with it or it's going to fall in. It's not quite there, but if I keep every year, there used to be an 80-foot shop built onto the back of this shop. This whole area here, friends, is added on. We had a windstorm and the roof came off that shop and started caving. My brother and I and Mrs. Tin Man, we knocked her over with a skid steer one day. I should put that in a video. I have video of that. It was hilarious. Couldn't get it to go and I'm hitting it with the skid steer and it fell so quickly I couldn't even back up fast enough. But Fab Willie and I framed this wall one day and then it proceeded to rain for the next. I retrussed this whole shop, resheeted it, shingled it, new wiring. Because at that point my channel was growing and YouTube was something I really wanted to do. It's like I need a space. I used to work in that corner, friends, because that was the only corner where the roof didn't leak. Make do with what you got. You don't gotta have the fanciest setup. Paul B, thanks, buddy. Your 2 Series Builders Guide has been great, Tin Man. Please keep it going if you can. I got a couple more videos to make on that. I have that. It's over there. I have that John Sered that Buchan sent me. It's a John Sered set of cases with a mystery cylinder. It's got a 266 gas tank and top cover. And I don't even know what it is. It just goes to show you that you can just build a junk saw. Paul, thank you, buddy. You know, when you guys help out this channel, I really appreciate it. I really do. You guys have made this channel what it is, and I mean that. You guys, I'm just a fella working in my shop. I don't take a lot of outside work. Not because I don't want to, friends. It's just time. I don't want your guys' saws sitting here for 2 years, 3 years, because I know it takes a while. I only run through a couple saws a month here, friends. Um, I spend a lot of time on my saws. I'm not the fastest builder, and I tend to work on stuff that's blown up. So, but yeah, you guys make this what it is, and I really appreciate you guys. Gonna start a hybrid 395 big bore port. Awesome, Chris. Yeah, 395 is a good saw. I'd like to find a blown up one. I won't port this saw, friends. It's too nice. It really, it's just, I mean, look at it. Look at the bottom. There's no wear on this saw. This was a private use saw that it starts. Here, friends. Chris Seeger, you're a freaking cool dude. Thanks, buddy. I'm just me. I don't know how to be anybody but me. If you have a YouTube channel, just be you. That's the only thing I can tell people. I just do my thing. The only difference is now, friends, I have a camera set up, and I was doing this before YouTube, and I'll do it after. I just like working on power saws. They're very visceral, raw. You can feel the power. That's why I'm not super into dynoing these. When you got a good saw, you'll know it. It's incredible. When you port a saw right and get the carburation and everything just right, they run better than a stock saw, and they just cut circles around anything you got. That's when you know you're getting there. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. Thank you to my moderator, Mrs. Tinman, my beautiful wife. She's my high school sweetheart, friends. We've been together for, I'm gonna get in trouble. I know my anniversary date. So we have been together since I think I was 15. I'm gonna be 40, friends. How did I get to be 40? Time just flies, working and. So yeah, we've been together since I think I was 15 and she was 14. It's awesome. I love my wife. Thanks for being my moderator, babes. Anyone have a 266 wrap they want to part with? I just got my first 266 wrap, friends. I've never had one. Again, a good subscriber, TK. TK's a great dude. He sent me this. I was just like, wow. TK, if you're watching, thank you, buddy. I've never had a full wrap 266. They're getting hard to find. I'd like to see if we can get some built and keep it going. The old saws are just good. I'm not really into new saws. I like the old stuff. I'm getting way behind in the comments. Clayton Showalter, I have an Echo 750 I want to get running. If you need any help, buddy, send me an email. Guys, when you email me, can you put in the header what it's pertaining to? Being one guy, I get so much email. A lot of it's kind of junk mail from YouTube, third parties, product stuff and that. I don't like talking about that, but that's pretty common. Can you put in the header? If you need help with a saw, just put saw help or something like that. Because with the amount of email I get, that's the stuff I click on. I'm still not taking any builds. I'm just not quite there yet, friends. I still work Monday to Friday, full-time job. As this channel gets bigger, who knows where we're going, friends. I never thought that, that I would be a YouTuber. Like if you would ask me 5 years ago, I would have chuckled. I'm a sheet metal worker. I'm a tin basher. I'm the tin man. So it's funny where life goes. 562, open the muffler, gasket delete, double check clearances. I love my 562, friends. I bought that saw to prove that I don't like new saws, and I've had that for 5 years. That was one of the first saws I got when I started getting into saws. That thing's an orangutan. Like, that is probably the nastiest 60cc saw on the planet. I just don't think... And I know if you're still a guy, you're probably going to say, I haven't run a 462 or a 362. 361 wasn't my cup of tea. But again, going back, 272 versus 044, I'm running 044 every time. I don't pick my saws based on brand. Big saws right here. That's the one for me. Why? Because it's light and it's fast. Do I want to make a hot Pioneer 600? I got a 620, 600, and 650 sitting on the shelf right there. The 650 runs. I haven't dug into the 600 and 620. Maybe one of those. Hey, Stevie Lutz, if you're still here, maybe you want to paint one of those. I got one with almost no paint on it. It's cool, but yeah, that'd be nice for a backdrop when we get the new shop done. Port size on a muffler, 2/3 the port size. Yeah, 60 to 70%. Depends on the saw. One thing I'm going to say, friends, if you got short blowdown, you want more muffler, or meaning a bigger hole. If you got long blowdown, you can get away with a smaller exhaust port. Why? Because the longer your exhaust is open before your transfer's open, the more time you have to let the exhaust escape. That's why I like long blowdown saws. Short blowdown, unless you're just running a straight pipe, in my opinion, you don't have enough time to get the exhaust out. And then what happens think of how much pressure is coming out of the transfers. It's not as much as we think. I have an idea on how we can test that theory, but if your transfer pressure is similar to your combustion chamber pressure when the exhaust is open, you have pressure pushing back on your transfer charge. You're not going to make as much horsepower like that. You're just not. You'll have a leaner saw, in my opinion. And of course, friends, I'm not shooting down anybody else's theories. I'll never do that. That's not how I am. There's many ways to port saws. People call me Mr. Forestry because I work in forestry. Well, your name's Aaron the Wood Chopper. I figured you were a rootin' tootin' lumberjack with a name like that. Hi, Tin Man. What would be a good first saw that's easy to work on for a complete beginner? I want to be able to stand up and buck and eventually hoping to port it. Bob 1. Any 60cc saw. 162 SE, 630 John Thread Super 1 or 2, or just a regular 630. MS 360, 036. Yeah, I mean, if you're just getting into saws, I don't recommend people go too big, because let's be serious about this, friends. Some of these saws we build are pretty nasty. A good running 70cc saw is a pretty serious piece of machinery. This is a saw. When people want more power, I'll bring this wood cutting with a buddy. I'll let them run this. They usually go 60cc. You can cut a lot of wood and not get into too much trouble. Again, if you're a pro, you're running like that 461, friends. That thing's an orangutan. That's too much saw for a lot of the wood we have here. That's the truth. If you're falling something smaller with that thing's so fast. And I was laughing because a logger buddy of mine was like, how could that be? But that thing's like an Indy car, friends. And if you ain't used to driving an Indy car, you can cut your hinge pretty fast with that thing. So any 60cc pro saw is a good place. And you can pretty much, for your average guy, that's a good one saw plan. Where are we at here? Opinion on GB bars. I've never run one of those. Billy Block from Australia. Bill's been on this channel forever. He runs them. He said they're good bars. I think he said the titanium are a little heavy. I'd like to buy some more bars just to let you guys know what I think. There's not a lot of good bars for sale around here. A long bar in this area is 24-inch. Believe it or not. Michael Berube. I love my 562. Aren't they great? Um, I was cutting with a couple of guys that run like 266s, and they were. We got into a mess at Oak about 2 or 3 years ago. If you go back on my channel, there's a couple of videos that say Epic Wood Pile, and it's a pile. She's 40 feet high and 100 plus feet long. I think they cleared 20 acres of old growth oak, and we got to go in there and cut. I wish I still had access to that pile. But I fired up my 562. The boys were, 100 yards away loading timber onto a trailer for milling. As soon as I fired that up, they looked over, they come over, and it's like, what are you running? This thing. They all tried it, and they're like, wow. I think a stock 562 will outcut a stock 266, in my opinion, as long as you got a sharp chain. Hey, the two-stroke rebuilder. Good fella. I watch your channel, buddy. He's a dirt bike guy. Friends, you can learn a lot from dirt bikes. A lot of what I do, dirt bikes and sleds. Two strokes are everywhere in the north because everybody runs sleds. Chainsaw technology is pretty behind the times. That's where these giant transfers and long blowdown come from, friends. You're going to have a higher exhaust roof on a pipe sled, but you can get a lot out of sled and dirt bike motors. There's no right or wrong, but I like a big transferred saw with long blowdown, and that is straight new school. And time new saws, friends. Start looking at the blowdown on new saws, and you'll start seeing they're getting longer and longer. Some of the new stills, I think the 362 has like 32 degrees of blowdown, friends, and that thing's a ripper right here. I'd like to try one. I hear that's a good saw. I'd like to try a 500i too. I don't know why, but just like to see what they're all about. I won't buy one, but I'm sure I'll run into somebody around here that's got one. I want to see Tin Man port a top handle saw. I do have a 200T here. I know the timing numbers on those. I have timed them before. Those just need a little more transfer and intake. I wouldn't really raise the exhaust roof. Yeah, Evan McDonald, lots of 40 plus degree blowdown engine sleds. Yes. And that's the thing I find interesting. I know guys that, build two-stroke engines for race bikes. Long blowdown's a thing. In the chainsaw world, I find a lot of guys like short blowdown. A lot of the old saws, friends, the Max, they have really short blowdown. And I find a lot of them big muscle saws with short blowdown also have limited carbs on them. And I think the reason for that is when the short blowdown, you have the exhaust fighting that transfer timing. And hence you get these limited carbs. I don't know that for sure, but it seems like if you got 10 to 15 degrees of blowdown, which a lot of Max have, home lights, you have a limited carb, and maybe there's something to that. Dean McGarry, how's it going, Dino? I like that Dean McGarry. He's always on this channel. What kind of newer bars would fit on a Pioneer P42? I use Husqvarna bars on Pioneers and home lights. They're close. For most saws though, friends, I use still pattern. I make spacers. A still pattern will fit on everything, still all the way down to small mount saws. You just got to make adapters, and sometimes you got to lengthen the groove. I just take a file, and I learned that from bucking. When you have 30 saws that run, it's hard to have 30 bars for all the saws, especially if, you guys know how much a long bar costs. So for me, it was just about, can I get a bar that runs on everything? I run 3/8 on every saw. I don't have any 325 saws left except for that 44 Husky. Those things are monsters. I don't know how they did that. Oh, did I miss a super chat? Dean McGarry, thank you, buddy. Hey, friends. This man here, the Iron Horse, Harvey, you're a good fella. Friends, if you like what I do on this channel, please check out the Iron Horse. I didn't know the man at the time. He kind of got me going on my channel. He was the first guy that I saw that showed what he was doing, timing. The Iron Horse builds a nasty power saw. He does. I hope to get there someday, friends. Harvey helped me out a lot, and I appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for joining in, Harv. Maybe the Iron Horse can go live. We're testing out the internet today, Harv. Seems to be working good. All of the home lights I've built have super short blowdown. I agree. That's the problem with home lights. You usually can't deck the cylinder because you raise that or you lower that cylinder 20 degrees. Well, guess what? You are now free porting out your exhaust port. Look how short this piston is, friends. Okay, buck and saw there. I had to break every rule in the book to get that running. And it's still running and it's really strong, but home lights are a strange animal. So are Macs. Macs are difficult to port because they're clamshell. It's hard to get in there. It's hard to do your finish work. But home lights, you go 10 thousandths in the wrong direction, you have a saw that won't run, is what I find. So if you're going to port one of these, don't go too far. Is my experience. If you're going to go far, expect heat issues. Look at the lack of fins on this saw, friends. There's not a lot of cooling surface. It's easy to make a lot of heat and they'll just blow up. D176 Oregon is Fitz Pioneer. Yes, that's the one. Colin Drake. I know that guy. How's it going, Colin? I like Colin. He's funny. He sends me funny things on the WhatsApp and makes me chuckle. Usually on a day where I'm pulling my hair out at work. Those Drakes are they're going to be up to no good. They're building something crazy, something go fast. I can't wait. Makes me want to travel there and take that machine for a spin. RC Highfield 1, thank you, buddy. There's a guy that's been on this channel forever. Always comments. I appreciate you guys. I really do. Just a fellow living in the middle of nowhere in Western Manitoba. It's cool. And friends, I can't wait for a bucket stock. I want to run an Iron Horse saw. To tell you the truth, the only ported saws I've run that aren't mine is Walkerized saws. That's what started this. I ran a 372 that Donnie Walker built for my buddy. And we were noodling up softwood, like I can't remember. It was probably spruce or just whatever we had. We were noodling them up with big saws, and he fired up that 372 with I think a 28 on it. I ran that, and I was like, "How do you do this?" He's like, "It's ported." Well, what do you know about that? He's like, "I don't know. I paid Walkers to do it," and that was it. And then along come the Iron Horse, and here I am. Super famous for RPM 242. Mine has 16 degrees of blowdown. My 238 XP has 20. Same no load RPM, same peak power. 238 is stronger and the peak horsepower is 3 RPM higher. There you go, Evan McDonald. I like long blowdown saws. That 272 that I always say, I built it on the channel. I always say I don't like that saw. The blowdown's too short. I ruined it. I was like, I need more blowdown. That saw is an orangutan. You pull the trigger, it wicks right up. It's super high RPM. It sounds and looks impressive on film. When you put a long bar on that and you dog it in, it doesn't have the pull of a similar build with longer blowdown. So I learned that saw. Just making sure I got all the super chats here. What else do you guys want to chat about today? I'm going to show you guys something. I'm going to do a video on this maybe after. I'm just going to grab something. Get rid of the 94. Hey friends, actually, you know what I'm going to do here? I got Buckin's 850. I haven't fired it yet. I put a little squirt of gas down the carburetor before we started live feeding, but we were getting pressed for time. Do you guys want to see if that thing starts and runs? We'll try not to smoke it out of here too bad, but you guys want to see that thing run? I haven't fired it yet. I just got that thing together last week sometime. My buddy Dave sent me basically an NOS fuel tank and a couple other odds and ends, because Buchan's a great fella, and he's gonna run that saw. I know he is. I want to make sure that saw is just right. I'm pretty particular. I like all my fasteners to match. I Loctite everything, but the tank that was on that saw looked horrible. So I tore the whole saw back down. I pulled the top end off. I wanted to look. I found nothing, but I wanted to see. Run it. Okay, friends. I got to get hearing protection because that saw's loud. That is possibly the loudest saw I've ever built. I don't know where my falling helmet is. Okay, well, we're just going to make my ears itch. Okay, friends. Hey, Nick Pixel. I'm going to fire up Buchan's 850, buddy. Should we try it with choke? Okay, ready, friends? Or if we should try it with no choke. I'm proud of this saw, friends. A lot of time. Ready? See if she restarts. Woo! Oh. Hey, friends. So let me get caught up here. I don't know, Harv, that one you built for Buchan, I refer to that video and watch it. That thing's pretty strong. I mean, I'll try. Oh, I love the small two-stroke. I know when I've built the right level of saw. Buchan likes horsepower. When a saw scares me a little bit, like it's absolutely orangutan, I know I probably am in the right. We can go farther on one of these, but I'm looking for a falling saw. He wants to run max full time, so that's a nice saw. I'm very proud of that saw. A lot of help from you guys out there. What's the fella's name? I'm a little slow right now, friends. I got a Sunday brain. One of the fellas, I'll remember his name when we're done live feeding. A fellow from Ontario. He's part of this group here. Canadian Vintage Chainsaw Hoarders. I think it's a Facebook group. I don't Facebook, but he sent me a new the chip guard, it's broken for the recoil. And Dave sent me a bunch of parts, new air filter. This is basically a brand new saw, friends. Sorry, I hit my screen here. It's nice. It's orangutan. Tin Man Live by Dave just Tin Man Live by Dave just went awesome. Thanks for having me. Thanks again, Nick Pixel. I like that Nick Pixel. He's a good fella. He's got I work on vibrations, friends. I get a feel for somebody when I meet them. That Nick Pixel, he's got good energy around him. Same with Iron Horse. I'm a vibrations guy. You can feel when somebody's a good person, is what I find. Hey, you know what, friends? I wonder. Just because, should we decomp this? $3.94. Ooh. That's a big saw, friends. I don't know if it has any fuel in it. This is the best sounding stock saw ever, period. Now, come on, friends. Is there anything better sounding? I like my Huskies. I do. They sound silly. And here's the thing. I just find that all these saws tend to be reliable. You guys got me going. I'm all fired up. Whew. It's cold out. They just make me happy. All of them. They just make me happy. Okay, I'm done. I'm sitting back down here. I'm all fired up. Oh, it smells great in here now, friends. Okay, guys. Is that 94? Is that not the best sounding saw? Clank, 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 like the exhaust on it? It's just every time I have a job big enough for that, I'm like giggling driving to the site. 394. You put a 32 on that. I don't know why. I find 394s are stronger than 395s. They shouldn't be, but they are. I don't know if that's cylinder porting or what, but that thing's a monster. And it's not, I think that power head weighs, I don't know. It's not super heavy. I mean, it's not light, but okay, I'm back. I'm looking at the comments here. You guys got me all fired up. Steve's Small Engine Saloon. Guys, I love Steve's Small Engine Saloon. I think he lives down by Buchan somewhere. I've been watching that guy forever. Steve, you have saved me thousands of dollars in... I pretty much am just a chainsaw guy, but it's like I have generators, tillers, mowers. That's Steve's Small Engine Saloon. He makes a great video. He's funny. He's entertaining, informative. Steve, oh, Canada to you too, buddy. There's another great Canadian YouTuber. Iron Horse just went live. Well, now I got to jump over there. Go say hi, friends, and then come back here. Nice. I wonder if there's a way we could go live together. I can't wait for a bucket stock, friends. I would like to sit and we could just talk saw porting, like legit saw porting. That would be fun. It's an interesting subject, and there's always many different ideas on how to make something go fast. My ideas are valid to me, but other people have ideas, and it's like I learn a lot from other guys that build. We swap little ideas, and that's the fun of making stuff go fast. It's fun when you make something really crazy, but it doesn't blow up. What else is there to do around here? You guys have seen where I live. There's nothing here. It's just bald prairie and farmland. Every shop in this area on Sundays or whatever, you're driving around, after church, you see the guys are in their shop. They're working on a boat or an old truck or a tractor. Everybody around here pulls wrenches, so it's fun. Chippy's ATV. You pushing snow, buddy? Chippy's a snowman. I used to do snow. Not anymore. I did snow for a couple seasons. That's a rough gig. You work so much, you forget what day it is, and you lose your days and nights. Sometimes the sun comes up and goes down a couple times. I got a lot of respect for the guys that clear snow. It's fun. I love jumping into a big loader, but yeah, that's a hard gig. You guys want me to fire up anything else? Did snow last night. P3s and back to my full-time work. Yeah, I hear you, Chippy. I used to do that. My buddy took over a snow clearing company, managing it, and they didn't have enough operators. I remember it was a Friday night in a snowstorm. I was literally pulling into the property here, and he phones me, "Can you do me a favor?" I'm like, "Sure." I thought maybe he needed a load of water or, like just a neighbor. And he said, "I need you to come back to Winnipeg and hop in a loader." And I went, "Me?" And, I've run equipment around here. I own equipment. But yeah, so I drove back and let my nerves go and hopped in that thing. And yeah, just took her easy for a while. Like driving it was no problem. But yeah, it was fun and I was hooked. I would push snow all night, sleep in the parking lot for an hour or two, go to my full-time job, and then I'd take another shift. It's hard on the body, but it's a lot of fun driving into a storm if you're into that. Hobby Schnitzler. Tin Man, thanks for sharing knowledge, helping me most getting into porting. You're welcome, buddy. Again, Steve's Small Engine Saloon, the Iron Horse. There's Bayou Country Power Saws. I watch other channels, not as much anymore because, on my time off, I'm working on saws and filming and stuff like that. Those of you that YouTube, you got to set up the camera and that. And, but yeah, those channels got me going, like without those guys. And like I said, Steve's Small Engine Saloon, he puts out such a good product. I find myself watching, Steve does a great job, and I've learned a lot from him because I don't work on everything. I remember once I had a carburetor issue on a Honda generator or something. I Googled or YouTube did, and there's Steve's Small Engine Saloon. Oh, that's what my carb's doing. I went outside, fixed it, done. Like that's what YouTube is to me, friends. It should be entertaining, helpful. It should make people's day better. And I mean, what's better than you got a piece of equipment broken and you can fix it yourself? That's good stuff right there. TikTok. I've never been on the TikTok. Interesting. Maybe I'm old. I'm not old, but yeah. Start the 6:30 John's thread. It's in the back of my truck right now. I was cutting firewood yesterday. Oh, Steve Small Engine Saloon. Thank you, Steve. You're a good guy. Like I said, guys, it's cool. It's cool to be that you guys trust me enough to show you stuff. Steve, thank you, buddy. Johnny Holmgren. I know that name. Better late than never. Here's some coffee money, buddy. Thank you, Johnny. Appreciate it. Again, there's so many of you that hang out here. Buck and Donnie Walker and I all live within minutes of each other. Steve, when the time is right, I'm coming your way. I have never been to the island. I've been as far as Calgary and as far as Toronto driving. We might have to just put some fuel in the old 6.5 turbo diesel and I'll meander my way over there. I would love to shake your hand and say thank you, buddy. I mean that. And yeah, Walker Saw Shop, that's my Graceland. They better be careful because once I get in there, they're not going to let me out. I love the Walkers. Good folks. You guys need a saw ported? You email Donnie Walker. He'll take good care of you. I promise you that. You want to hear the 6:30 run? It's outside. If you guys give me a second, hopefully it starts. It's freezing cold. You guys want to hear the 6:30? I'll go grab it right now, friends. Give me 2 seconds. Pull my pants up. 6:30. Friends, it's funny. Everybody likes this saw. I get a lot of emails about it. This is one of the first saws I ported with a timing wheel. Some of the best stuff I've built is the earlier stuff. There's nothing. I mean, if you guys want to know the timing on this, I can tell you right now. It's in my head. Okay, this thing's been sitting outside of my truck all night. This thing, I gotta turn her over a few times. This is a super high compression build. Okay. Woo! The saw is not the best starting saw when it's cold. See, they're not bad once you get them going. Yeah, this thing's a monster. It's nothing exotic. And friends, this doesn't even have a fancy piston. This is a Little Red Barn piston, believe it or not, that I cut a big pop-up into. Hence the stupidly high compression. It's that was a good build. And this thing oils like it's going out of style. Let me grab a rag here, friends. I'll wipe the oil down. I've never had a saw on that chassis that oils like that thing. It's funny, friends. I got that from a fella. He lived in an apartment. He was from Newfoundland, and Newfoundlanders, they always want to go back home. So this fellow was selling his stuff, and he had that saw. It looked horrible when I got it, but it's like, there it is. I used a used. Oh, my nose is running from going outside. There we go. I put a used 266 SE cylinder on it and cut a pop-up. Did a little machine work. Exhaust screw's pretty high on that thing. I think it's at 97, which is way too far for a saw that size, but there it is. You break the rules sometimes, and I mean, we did lose a bearing on that saw. Remember that, friends? If you go back in the channel, I lost a bearing on that saw almost right away, but I never changed the bearings. So the question is, was that a bearing on its way out, or is this saw too hot? Well, the only way to know is to keep running it. I run that saw almost every time I go cutting, and this time of the year, though, I don't like that saw. It's too hard to start. You guys saw that there. I can't fire up my 5200 because it's not even in one piece, friends. I pulled it down. One day we'll pull that back out. I got to put mounts in it. It's a running saw. Just another one of those. I remember I was driving home from work and I messaged the guy about it. I figured he would be gone, and he messaged me back. Nobody knew what it was, so I drove an hour and a half to get that saw after work one day. But I like starting saws. Thanks for coming there, Stevie Lutz. I was on Stevie's live feed yesterday. That powder coating he does is amazing, friends. Tin Man, you're the reason I got into saws and porting. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome, Larry. I like making horsepower. I've always been that way. It doesn't matter what it is. I got to make it go faster, except for the 6.5 Wood Weasel. Those are not known for taking power, so I don't dare go down the rabbit hole with that. Everything else, faster, more power. Bikes especially. I quit riding sport bikes when 1000cc bikes weren't fast enough. I had to quit because those things are. Any of you guys out there that's ridden like an R1 or a ZX10R, they're pretty fast. I can't think of anything faster than one of those that, I've been a part of. I like things that are fast. Nikki Walsh, what do you know, Nikki? What time is it there? Probably, I don't know. I know Australia time, but I don't know. I don't know where you guys would be there. Missed his live feed by 20 minutes. Yeah, I usually join live feeds in the last 4 minutes, I find. 8:50 p.m. Sunday. Oh, okay. So you're actually not. Yeah, that's actually not too far from where we're at. I don't even know what the time is. How long have we been on here, friends? 3 o'clock, ready to rock. Just bought. Someone just said Dean McGarry, I believe, said he just bought a CBR 1000. That was a good bike. It wasn't. Now I've been out of sport bikes for 15 years. I still have a Ducati 750 Sport, an early one. It's a Panta motor. It's got twin flat slide Makunis, open belts. We'll maybe next year, friends, when I have the room in the new shop, I'll wheel that into the shop. We'll get it running. I want you guys to hear that thing run. It is absolutely incredible. That little bike, I think it weighs 370. It makes 70, 75 horse. What a bike to ride. Has hand-laid fiberglass panels on it. It's 89. I haven't ridden that thing in years, but yeah, I like bikes. Any kind of bike. Harleys. I was always a Harley guy, but I mean, I like dirt bikes. I still have an ST 1100, the old war wagon. Unfortunately, the mice got it in my shed, which made me sad. That was a good bike. But yeah, I've had almost as many bikes as I've had saws. From the time I was young, I would buy a bike, restore it, sell it, and just. But from the time I was 14 to I hit 20, I was flipping bikes, and I ended up buying a almost a brand new Harley when I was like 20. So, pulling wrenches is a good hobby if you're into it. Hello from Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. How's it going, Ryan? Thanks for coming here, buddy. Australia is 6:50 a.m. Yeah, it's funny. I talk to somebody in Australia quite regularly, and it's actually neat. Like, our world's so small now, friends. GSXR 1000. Oh yeah, I remember. When did those come out? 99. I rode one of those. Wow. My buddy bought one. I thought I knew fast, but like that generation of bike, just silly. And then I rode a Hayabusa, and it was like, I tell people that those Hayabusas are just good times. That'd make a good hot saw if you could pick it up, eh? Imagine a Hayabusa hot saw. Is it worth doing anything to an MS 291? Sure. If that's all you have and you want to work on it, why not? Squish on clamshell saws are usually on the loose end, and I think that has to do with all the tolerances. So be aware, if you're going to raise your exhaust roof, you're going to lose compression. When you lose compression, you lose pull. And by pull, when I say this saw pulls, when you dog it in and it keeps eating, and when you see a ported saw, friends, listen for RPM changes. If a saw doesn't waver its RPM, you know it has pull. That's not always what you want, though. Some people want a screamer. Some people want a saw that runs a little slower, but yeah, a 291, if you gave that thing a little more intake timing and did some work to the transfers, you'd feel the difference with a stock exhaust roof. Started with dirt bikes, then street bikes, now it's chainsaws. Thanks to you, Iron Horse and Walt. Yeah, I watch Walt too. Been watching Walt for years. Yeah, it's kind of come full circles. I started with small engines and now I'm back. The thing is, for me, friends, like, to build a Harley takes years. I used to do that kind of stuff. Remember when everything was choppers, friends? Choppers, Discovery. I was right into that scene. That's when I got all my tattoos, like 20 years ago. And we were going to the States and going to bike shows. I rode a rigid. I'll dig out pictures, friends. I'll show you my bike. I rode a rigid Harley for years. I had an old one and then I got a newer one. Beat the snot out of my back. But yeah, I used to ride like this. The risers were right here, and if you weren't over 6 feet tall, you couldn't ride that bike. It was fun. Had a lot of fun. Fiero with a 350, yeah. Grew up with BMW R90s. BMWs are cool. I was gonna buy R1200S. They used to make that sport bike model. You could get Olin suspension. I almost ordered one years ago. BMWs are a strange animal. I actually kind of equate Pro Mac or McCulloughs. McCulloughs are like BMWs. You either really like them or you don't. And I find guys that ride Beamers, that's all they ride. Um, they're a they're a different animal. They're neat though and reliable. Yeah, Aaron, I used to ride daily. I never used to drive a car in the summer. I'd ride rain, shine till the first snow. I've been caught in snowstorms on my Harley. I used to be that guy, but some situations happened in life, and I had to hang it up, unfortunately. But here I am. I might get another bike in the future. I'd like to do a shovel head on the channel. I don't know if you guys are interested in that. Um, I did a shovel head with my buddy years ago for him. I've never had a shovel head. I'd like a 93-inch stroked kickstart only shovel head. That would be fun. Echo 1001 VL. Never even heard of that one. Interesting husky, some old stills. Just ask Chippy. Yeah, it's funny, friends. Like there are so many saws out there. Like that 999 Oleomac. My buddy uses that on a mill. That thing, it's not the fastest big saw I've ever run, but pound for pound, that is one of the strongest, 100cc plus power saws I've ever run. Incredibly powerful. I just had no use for it. That power head weighs almost 30 pounds full of fuel. That thing will pull, yeah, I think that's rated to pull a 5 foot bar. Um, and it would, I believe it. I had no use for it, but again, I never even heard of that saw. I was buying saws off a local in the city. He used to be into log building. He had a plethora of saws, and I started buying saws off him because everything he had was pristine. He only used them for a couple of years, but I bought that 999. He blew it up on the mill, and I happened to find a piston at the dealer that sold that thing in like 91. Just weird coincidence. But again, never heard of that saw. Great saw. Maybe I'll have to borrow it back someday and show you guys. Oh yeah, Chris Seeger. Um, my chopper, I'll dig out pictures. I had a foot clutch and a jockey shift on that. Problem is with that bike, it was too fast. And riding like this, rowing gears with a foot clutch, and I had mid mount pegs on it, so my knees, like I'd be riding like this, and it was raked and 6 inches up, 2 inches forward, 38-degree rake, had a 230 back tire, and the seat was about this high off the ground, and it made right around 100 horse. I could never crack 100 horse with a 1200 Sportster motor. 100 horse is hard to do with that size motor, but the bike weighed like 350 pounds and chassis flex, and you'd come around a corner and give her, and you could feel the whole chassis just kind of good times. Friends, I used to be pretty silly. Pretty silly. Chainsaws are about the safest hobby I've ever had. Wait till I get that 490 going. I bet you that thing will wheelie. Shovels are wicked. My old man is right into his older Harleys, has a couple iron heads. Yeah, I had my first Harley was a 76 Ironhead Sportster. Um, I didn't pay much for it. My dad's neighbor still lives there. He's an old timer. He was a hydro worker or something. Just good fella. I used to go over and hang out in his shop, and then one day he kind of leaned out of his shop and he goes, "Hey, come check out this motorcycle." And I went over there, and it was a 76 Ironhead right foot shift in a Paco rigid frame with like 45 degrees of rake. The front end would do this when you're going down the highway. I had to have it. Took me 2 weeks, but I bought that thing and rode it. What a unreliable piece of machinery. For every one time you rode it, you were stuck on the side of the road. That thing had wiring gremlins and oil leaks. Till one winter, I ripped her all apart, sealed up the motor, rewired the whole thing, and I never had a problem with it again. Good fun. Yeah, you can't kill the evils. Mine was a 92 Sportster bottom end. I had, what did I have? I had 11 and a half to 1 Keith Black pistons. My heads were done by Jake. He's a local. He builds race heads for like drag race Harleys and stuff. Jake did my heads. I think they flowed. I might be completely wrong. It's been a long time. I think he 2.5 times the flow of Buell Thunderstorm heads. That bike was crazy. That's where I learned about rough intakes, friends. I know some people don't agree with that. I accidentally put a smooth intake on that motor, dynoing it. I lost a little bit at the top, but my mid-range power was not the same. So I put the rough intake back on. It made better power. I don't know why, friends. A lot of the stuff we do in motors is just a guess. And, pretty silly is putting it mildly. Keep it down there, Mrs. Tin Man in the house. Mrs. Tin Man, she could tell you guys stories about me. I had a lot of fun when I was a young man. I'm glad I got my head on straight. Buying a house and getting a trade was the best thing that ever happened to me, friends. Just work. Greetings from Germany. Hey, Fabian. How's it going, buddy? A lot of German folks in my neck of the woods that immigrated here, turn of the century. A lot of German farmers out here. The Germans are good, hardworking people. Often very tall, too. All the Germans out here look down on me like they're 6'4", 6'5". It's interesting. Very tall. I don't know if that's how Germans are, but the Germans here are big fellers. They ride BMWs. Anybody that's ridden a BMW knows you need a long inseam. An old Harley is just like a British car. If there are no puddles under the engine, there's no oil inside. Yeah, there are ways to fix that, but yeah, the AMF Harleys had very poor castings. Very poor. Yeah, you're 5'10" and 5'7". I'm not as tall as people think I am. I'm like 6'2", something like that. I always feel small, friends. My brother's like 6'6", so I've always been the little brother. So, you guys seen my brother in that video where we made that pipe for Buck and Saw, and yeah, he's a big fella, big old hoss, the kind of man that can swing around a 94 all day. Well, you know what, friends, this worked out well, and pretty cool. I'm on Wi-Fi. I'm pretty far from my house. If the quality's good, friends, I don't want to put anything out there that's not watchable. If the quality's good, please give me a thumbs up or yes. If not, I will run a cable to the shop. I want to be able to live stream with you guys. This is a lot of fun. The time just flies by, and I really appreciate you guys that hang out on this channel. Give me a thumbs up or a yippers if it's solid. Yeah, and this is that Starlink internet, friends. If you live rural, it's that Elon Musk project. I didn't know anything about it. Friends, there is no high-speed internet where I live. They're running fiber optic in my area. I've been waiting all year. I was on the list. We were supposed to have it in April. Remember I did that one live feed last year around the new year? Well, I was waiting for my internet. It hasn't come. The project's behind. It's construction. I work construction, and it's like everything's behind right now. We couldn't wait any longer. A guy works like, I got this Starlink internet, and I'm like, well, what is it? He's like, it's satellite. Well, generally satellite internet's really slow. And thank you, Fabian. This is fast, friends. Like I used to. Here's how I film during the weekend, friends. I edit, and then every night before I go to bed, I gotta upload a video, and that's why I only do like 3 videos a week, because it takes me so long to upload, and I make them 720p, not 1080, and that's just been the way it is. It takes a lot of time, friends. So, once we found out, my wife and I, we ordered it and we got it right away. You literally plug it in and the dish just kind of looks up, does its thing, and you have internet. And I'm on Wi-Fi right now, and it's like, it's pretty cool, friends. Pretty cool. 10 years, friends. We've been in the dark ages. No computer. Very limited TV. There's no cable here. Like there's none of that. So I don't, friends, we really don't watch a ton of TV. And YouTube has been my entertainment for years. So it's kind of nice now. I want to make a better product for you guys. I want you guys, you know, the less time I spend editing and trying to get videos to upload, the more time I can upload videos. And often you guys have a question. I'm like, I could make a video about that. But what ends up happening, it takes so long to get the video out. You know what I mean? So this is great, friends. Like literally, I'm on Wi-Fi in my shop. So I was expecting to run a cable. I was going to string a cable from one building to the other, run 100-foot cord. But if this works and you guys are happy with this, we'll just keep rolling with this. When we get our fiber optic, we are going to hook that up. This was in the interim. By watching my videos, friends, and you know, that little bit of revenue that YouTube is paying me now, I try and take that revenue that you guys helped me with internet. I really appreciate it. Just by being here and watching my videos, you guys are really helping this guy. I really appreciate you guys being here. But yeah, we were able to buy the Starlink internet. I'm probably going to do a video on that. I got to put it on the roof still. It's on a picnic table in the backyard, friends. I'm not even kidding. I ran the cord through into the house and plugged it in. But yeah, you guys made this happen. Like we've been in the dark ages here for 10 years. If I want to print something, I got to do it at work or go to the city or, you know, so this is awesome. Yeah, Tyler Heard, if you can get Starlink, get it, buddy. It works amazing. Like it's overcast today. We were worried that the signal's a little bit slow. It's been fine. You figure we got 2 phones running off this right now, and my wife is moderating in the house, and I mean it's good. Streaming TV, high def, no problems. It doesn't buffer. We get a couple of signal drops a day. They last like 15 seconds. Half the time you don't even know they're there. So any more questions before we wrap this up? Oh, Buchan's live. So is the Iron Horse. Nice. You do this yourself, Tin Man. You make great videos. Thank you. Guys, I'm thinking of you guys when I make videos. I try and make the best content possible. I'm not a tree worker. I'm not a faller. I am a gearhead that likes to work on stuff. And I fall with my saws because I want to get better at falling. I'm not a faller. I'm a firewood cutter. I fall most of my timber that I burn. So by watching other channels like Mr. Buchan, I learn. And, you know, I try and put out the best content for you guys. And again, I'm not a faller. So it's like when you guys don't fall, or new fallers or any of that, I like to tell you guys my thoughts on things so that we all go home at the end of the night. Falling's a dangerous game. For how many years I dropped trees and I had no idea what I was doing. And it's like, I am so glad I understand the risks involved because things can get out of hand. Okay, friends. I think we are going to wrap this up now. I don't know how long we've been on. It seems like 10 minutes, but it's probably been an hour or two. Thanks for being here. We'll play it by ear. I'll probably do a community announcement next time so you guys know when it's happening. But I'd like to make this a fairly regular occurrence. I really like yakking with you guys. Doing it in email is getting harder and harder, and it's like going live is a lot of fun, and I appreciate everybody being here. So without further ado, if I can figure out how to turn this here camera off, I will do that. Anyhow, everybody, thanks for watching, and I'm going to go hop over and see the Iron Horse, and then Buchan probably. So everybody, thanks for being here. I appreciate your support. What a year. We are almost at 20,000 subscribers, friends. And it's like, what a year. I was at 1,000 this time last year. That's you guys. That's not anything that I'm doing. It's you guys choosing to spend your time here. Anyhow, friends, thanks for watching. Take her easy. Later. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll drop a video. Later.